welcome back to another episode of the Stock Shot Show, where we are teaching you how to hit shots just like this. A stock shot, a ball that starts one way, curves back towards the flag, and never overcurves the line. That is the goal, and that is why we're here. Now, to do this, the question is while I'm sitting here hitting all of these stock shots, what is the only thing that is connected to the golf club? Right? Let's think about that. The only thing connected to the golf club is our hands. So the direction that our hands take in the backswing has a monumental effect on the golf club and how it works. So while we worked into the last episode, and if you didn't watch the last episode of how we start the backswing working on the door frame drill, go back and watch that episode, right? But right now what we're going to start to work on is we're going to work on the top of the backswing. And the top of the backswing, this is the picture that you see with tour players where you go, man, that guy's swing looks so good, right? Like you have guys like Adam Scott, and at the top it's like perfect. Tiger Woods, Justin Rose, Rory McIlroy. Then you have other ones like Matt Wolff, right? And like Matt Kuchar, and those ones you're like, man, that looks like a little funky, right? Now they get it done, but there is a symmetry to the backswing that those players like Tiger and Rory and Justin Rose and Tommy Fleetwood and all those great golf swings, what they do, why you say, man, that looks like poetry in motion. So to recap a little bit, we saw that before we wanted our hands to work in, and our hands work in, we call that word depth. So depth is anything with our hands working in, right? Now, as we continue to turn, our hands continue to go, right? They continue to have more depth. And that happens, the depth happens, just to remind us, by us turning our hips, right? So at the top of our swing, our hips are going to be about a 45-degree angle between, 38 and 45. Our chest is going to be about 85, 90 degrees turned with an iron. And that, by doing that, allows our hands to have depth. So the question is, as you go, Kyle, great, I would like to have it where at the top, my swing has depth. How do I do that? Well, what we are trying to do is if you were to go into your house, and I'm going to use this noodle as a wall to signify a wall, and I were to get in my setup and put my tush against the wall, and I were to take my backswing, right? So I've got basically my door frame drill that you saw in the last Stock Shot Show. Then as I get up to the top, I'm going to try to get it so that my right forearm is against the wall, the shaft is against the wall, and my right hip is still against the wall. So I take it back and I'm turning, so there's my door frame, and then I'm up to the top, and then my hands would be against the wall. This would give you the proper feeling to basically program your practice to have the right depth in your backswing. Because like I said earlier, the way that our hands work is really, really important. For example, yesterday I was giving a lesson to a gentleman named Matt. Matt had a good golf swing, like 7 handicap, and when he would take the club up to the top, he had very limited rotation in his hips. So his hips turned about 20 degrees, which therefore made it so that when you drew a line down from his hands, they were above his toes. Now, the problem with that is to swing the club on plane, he would have two options. The first option, or to hit a stock shot, we'll say, the first option would be if he wanted to hit a draw, he would have to loop his hands back down and around to get the club to come from the inside, kind of like Freddie Couples, right? Or a guy who loops his hands like Jim Furyk. The other option would be, which is what he did, and what most do, 99% of players, is his hands would take a beeline to the ball. They take a beeline to the ball, like if this is my golf ball. When they go up to the top, my hands, the fastest distance between 2 points is a straight line. So now when he accelerates his hands, the shaft is too steep. So then he would turn, kind of hold it off, and hit like a little pull cut, which is possible, but it's not really the most efficient ball flight, right? Like Ben Hogan said, to hit a proper fade, you have to know how to hit a proper draw first. So what we need to do is we need to have the hands to have the proper depth, and if they have the proper depth, now they can beeline to the ball, which is the fastest distance between 2 points, and the shaft will be shallow, because you can see, like, if my hands were on if my butt was on the wall here and I go up to the top with my hands against the wall, now when I take a beeline to the ball, the shaft will be shallow, right? So that allows the shaft to be on plane. So we would do the wall drill, and then from there, if we wanted to create a feedback station, right, we would take our shaft and our noodle, you'd stick them in the ground. If you need to get one of these fancy smancy holders, you could just go to thegolfroomproducts.com. and you could find them if you're hitting in a net. But what you would do is we would just take this right out of Ben Hogan's 5 Fundamentals of Golf, where he sat there and said, hey, I feel I have basically a plane of glass going over my right shoulder. So that would be this noodle, right? So I'm setting up with the noodle kind of at a 45-degree angle, and it's basically 2 inches above my shoulder. So now as I go back, I have my door frame drill. I'm up to the top. So now my left arm, you will see, matches my shoulders. So it's not above my shoulders, it's not below my shoulders, it's matching my shoulders. And now from here, my hands can take a beeline to the ball and be on plane. So if I'm running into the noodle, that tells me that my hands are too high, and it gives me the feedback to tell me the feel of what is real to build a proper backswing at the top, with your left arm matching your shoulder plane, and if you draw a line from your hands, it would go down to your heels. That's what you're looking for, right? So this is just one element of the backswing. There's a lot more pieces to it, which we'll get more into in other episodes of this Stock Shot show, but this will give you something to do, and I guarantee that if you do this, your swing will start being a lot better, and you'll start hitting those stock shots just like this. So be sure to like this, subscribe to it. We'll be giving more episodes all the time on how to build this stock shot. If you need more advice, you can always dive into my 21-day stock shot challenge, where if you go to stockshotchallenge.com, we go through everything there is to know about building a stock shot, and it's completely free. So you could go check that out. And if you have any questions, right, comment below, subscribe, send this to a friend who you want to have a better golf swing so that maybe he doesn't drag the group down and he can play a little bit better so that you guys can have more fun on the golf course. So thanks so much for tuning into the Stock Shot Show, and we'll see you back here next time.
What if you could build your own stock shot in just 21 days and it was completely free? Well, now, if you go to stockshotchallenge.com, you can do exactly that. Head over to the website and start building your stock shot in just 21 days.